The idea of peer assessment is kind of interesting because it gives us a chance to reinforce our own knowledge at the same time helping out someone else in the community. So I've tried to structure this in a way that there is kind of grading involved, but also free-form answers so you can really give kind of personal help to the person that you're assessing. Now you're going to be assessing your classmates in 4 different categories: accuracy, completeness, focus, and presentation. And I'd like to look at each one of those in detail and see what we're looking for in each one of those categories. The first category is accuracy, and this is where you'll assess if your peer was true and correct in everything they stated in their lesson. Now, you'll be grading each one of these categories on a scale of 0 to 3, so there's basically 4 options. And the 3 is going to be everything is perfect. They stated everything correctly and they used all the correct language. And the idea of language is really important in this accuracy component because very often words that we use in these topics are a little different than how they're used kind of outside of music production. So we want to make sure that not only is the information correct, but the language is correct and natural based on what we've stated in the material. So if you're giving them a perfect score of 3, that means that everything is correct in the material and the language was also used in a correct, natural way. You might give a grade of 2 if the lesson material was correct, but some of the language was awkward, or maybe they used 1 or 2 wrong words, or in a kind of a strange way throughout the lesson. You might give them a 1 if there are major inaccuracies throughout the lesson, and a 0 if it's all just completely wrong. Now, the one great thing about this is there'll always be free-form answers also. So if you are going to give any grade, and particularly if you're giving something below a 3, I'd like you to really say why. So maybe you might say, well, I'm giving you a 3 because you used loudness instead of amplitude. And we know that those are 2 different things, right? But maybe they misused those words. That's something you could tell them in the free-form answer. The idea with the free-form answer is to help that person. They'll be able to read these reviews and they'll be able to increase their knowledge through it. So this is a way that you can give back and know that they'll be doing the same for you. The second category we'll be looking at is completeness. And this is making sure that everything necessary was covered in the topic. So most of these lessons are really based on lessons that I gave in the material. So when you're looking at completeness, you can really see, did the lesson cover kind of everything that was covered in the material with regards to that topic. And you might give a 3 if, yes, everything was covered and went beyond. Maybe they did extra research and really taught you some things beyond what was required in the lesson. 2 might be it's missing some fundamental portions of the material, but you can still understand what's going on and it's still a very good lesson. You might give a 1 if huge portions of the topic are missing, and a 0 if they've covered some completely other topic than what they've stated they were going to do. And again, there's a free-form answer. So if you think something's missing from the lesson, you're going to tell them what was missing, right? So if they forgot an aspect of the topic, you can tell them what was missing. And again, you can help reinforce their knowledge. And in telling them that, you're reinforcing your own knowledge. The third category we're going to be assessing on is focus. We want to make sure that only that topic is covered and we haven't gone on extreme tangents. So the idea is to go through the lesson material, and if you see points where they're going way off topic, you'll let them know. So a perfect score of 3 would be they stayed perfectly on topic and it was a well presented, topic with no extra material. There might be a 2 if there are some slight tangents that go on, but it doesn't really impact the understanding of the material. There might be a 1 if it's completely off topic in large sections, but the material is still covered. And again, it's a 0 if most of the material is completely off the stated topic. The final category you're going to grade on is actually the presentation. Now this one is going to be honestly a little tough to grade because everyone has different capabilities with regards to the presentation. But I still want to make sure that we're thinking about how well the material was produced and how well it was transmitted in a lesson. So they're going to give some specifics. First off, make sure that the person does give an introduction, right? We're going to grade and make sure they do have an introduction, that they've stated their name and where they're from, and kind of get a little personality in the beginning of it. Then to teach them lesson material, and that there is a reflection at the end. So they followed that format is an important part of this. Then I'd like you to really assess how well they've presented it. Does it look good? Is it well formatted? And this will really depend on the skills they have and what they have access to. So if they're using text only, is it formatted well? Are the paragraphs in the right place? Is the grammar correct? Is it easy to understand that way? If we're using screenshots, are the screenshots well organized and the text flow well so I can understand what's going on? If it's a video, is the video of the correct person, of the right thing? Can we understand what's going on in the video? And if there's audio, is the audio of a good quality? Is it distorted? Is it not? Now, these things have to be related back to the capabilities and the access that the student has. And I think you can understand that, right? If a student only has access to a laptop microphone, we can't downgrade them. We can't give them a bad grade just because that's all they have access to. But I still think it's valuable to assess in the free-form answer how well it went and give some advice on how they might improve that. So that's how we're going to peer assess. Make sure that you give grades that represent how they did in each category, and you give the free-form answers so you can help them gain the knowledge that maybe they missed.